Thank you for joining. Today, the guest that we have today is Bayomi Semudara. Bayomi is a seasoned product designer. He has been around for almost a decade now within the tech ecosystem. He has grown to become a voice of reasoning, a key opinion leader within the Nigerian tech space, and some casually refer to him as a talking tech cabal, which is nothing far from the truth. Currently, Byram is currently freelancing with Huddle. Huddle is a fractional design community dedicated to assisting communities in their growth journey and creation of aesthetically pleasing products. So, thank you so much, Biomi. So, I just want to go straight into it. And the point of this conversation is that, as somebody, for myself, as somebody who has worked across different industry verticals from tech to non-tech, because of my marketing background, one thing that I encountered a challenge in the last couple of months, and I feel this podcast, how I did it, answers that question. That is essentially solves that problem, and it is that when people stumble in their career journey, one, or they are about to kickstart their career, particularly within the tech product space and marketing space, they oftentimes don't know where to start from. And that's the reason why I felt it's very important for me to bring in established professionals, people who are on a fast rise, who are in the fast rise in their careers, to come in into this conversation and tell us how I did it, how they essentially did it from ground zero to where they are now, and even be give them an opportunity to push a shameless plug to where they are going. So I'm just going to ask you the direct question, by me. How did you do it?
Inviting me to How I Did It podcast, and it's really great to be here. So how did I do it? My journey started from uni life, education library. Um, I'm someone that likes to not do anything, right? I like to be occupied. I like to try my hands on like several things, as many as my brain can take, right? And I was in 200 level, and I mean, I felt as though we were really just wasting our time in school because I figured out I could read a day before exam and then I'll still pass the exam, right? So I needed to preoccupy my hands and my time with some other things. So at the early beginning, I tried to go into photography, but like those gadgets for photography are really, really expensive, right? I tried to like reason shoemaking. I tried like to think reason up look into several things I could really just do to make my own money. But it didn't really just fit. But then um, I just found design, and I was like, okay, design is something I can actually do, right? So I asked my mom to get me a laptop, and she did. So I just went into education library Unilag, and at that time, education library had like free Wi-Fi and light. So there's always light and Wi-Fi. So I pretty much just go there when I resumed to school around 9 or 10, and stayed here um, till like maybe 5 or 6 in the evening, and just basically watch YouTube videos on design and motion graphics and anything I could really just learn at that time. And I got my first client. I was paid 500 naira, and it was a really big money. And I was even scared that this person should not come and ask for their money back. Imagine. So that's pretty much how I started. I started with motion design, and then I moved to graphic design, and then to brand design, and then from brand design I did product marketing, and from product marketing I went into product design, which I'm currently doing at the moment. And I mean, I also just sort of found that I could share my opinion because I have plenty of opinion about what is happening in the tech space. So I figured I'd
Yes.
just make video about them and post it for other people to see how I'm thinking about the tech space, and that's how I started creating content. Middle of last year in May, I started in May last year, and the journey has been really, really great. So right now I have about 20K. I'm getting to 21K followers on Instagram, getting to 14K on TikTok, and it's just been a very slow and steady growth.
Yeah. Thank you for that synopsis. And speaking particularly around you going into content creation.
Hmm.
Um, for you, there are two things I admire,
Hmm.
and that is one, you always have like an opinion.
Right.
Two is the consistency.
Mm.
Tell me a bit about the part of consistency for you, because for someone who has been in content, I've been creating content for the past since 2016, if my memory
Mm.
serves me correctly. But if there's anything about me when it comes to content creation, it's an hobby for me. It's a hobby for me.
Right.
So I find the part of consistency very difficult. How are you able to hack that when it comes to you being consistent in creating so much, putting out so much information? Because I think you put up to like average like about three videos a day.
Yeah.
How are you
Yeah.
able to do that, combining that with your busy schedule?
Right. So I have to, let me say I've divided my brain into two parts, right? Which is the design brain and then the content brain.
Yeah.
And pretty much I have to like figure out how to like do everything day in, day out. And I've sort of divided my day into two. So from morning till around say 1 or 2, I'm creating content. And then from 2 downwards, I am doing design work. And I mean, on some days, I still not do anything, but like sometimes I don't put out anything. But like that's how I've just sort of divided my day. So between if I, once I wake up till like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I am creating content, and once it's like 2, I head to my workspace and I just sort of design throughout all that time. So that has been the way I've scheduled myself. And one other like really important thing to note is that if you check my videos, I try to make them as simple as possible so that there will be no need for too much editing.
Mm-hmm.
When I say as simple as possible, I mean that there's no effects, there's no after effects, there's no all those bubbly thunder, all those kind of effects or
Yeah.
aesthetics. It's just pretty much a plain video straight to the point, sharing my opinion. Max, the only edit that really takes time is the caption, right? Because I also sort of add captions to my video, and that's what like really takes most of my time. But generally, the way I see things, especially with content creation, I see the most important thing is what you are saying, the value you are bringing to the table, right? All those other effects, they're like add-ons. They don't really matter, even though they sort of add to the vibe and the look and feel. But that's not the core of it. For me, I feel like the most important thing is what you are saying. Does it make sense? Will people sit down and wait 1 minute, 2 minutes to be able to watch your video and get at least learn something from it? And that's what I've always sort of just sort of focused on. Every other thing is like secondary or tertiary to me. The most important thing I really want to do is put out great videos. And I mean, at some point, I have to now figure out a way to like um, maybe add all those aesthetics, make it
Yeah.
look a lot more professional. But right now, I don't have that. I mean, and also that it's not bringing in a lot of money, so I can't hire people to like do. But once it gets to a stage where it's really taking care of itself, then say I could now hire a videographer, and I know that okay, my own is just to go there and just talk, and other people will handle the post production, posting on social. But right now, if my goal is to just really create those videos and just push them out. And I mean, the sort of content I also do, it's a daily content, right? And you don't want people to come to your page and you are not updating them what's happening on that particular day. Yeah. So I mean, I've just sort of found a way that makes it work for me, which is um, make the video as simple looking as possible and just go to the point, so that there will be no need for too much edit. And I think also I mean I'm very opinionated, and um, most of the time when I speak, I really also don't do scripting, right? I just turn on the camera and just say whatever comes out of my mind, and I think that sort of has helped me with, even though like I still don't manage my time very well. That sort of has helped with the consistency.
Okay. All right. So you're pretty much um taking off from the framework that most people who have been successful have been advocating on when it comes to content creation today. Keep it simple, turn on the camera, don't overthink it,
Yeah.
and just click record and post, which actually makes sense. Now, looking at some you taking, so how do you combine um two things? That is, you're talking about content creation now. You have tried to simplify the content to optimize for volume and the quality within the content, not the quality around the aesthetics.
Yeah.
Now, I would want to believe that the other part of your career, which is product design, is a is much more different. So the question is, for emerging professionals, from your own perspective, what do you think that they can bring into the game, into they can bring into the industry, especially the young ones that just finished school in service, the first year interning or whatever? What do you think that they can bring into the industry that can set them apart or make them shine and give them a leeway into a very a highly competitive industry like tech?
Yeah. So for me, I think that learning design alone doesn't just cut it anymore, right? So there are tools right now that can really help you. So instead of just doing design alone, you could now take that design and make it
Mm,
a live website, for instance, right? Using tools like Framer, like what's the other one, Webflow, right? So my advice would be, don't just be a designer that can also execute the front end, right? So
okay.
that just like really sets you apart. And I mean, you could also be a designer that understands copywriting, for instance, right? So you're a designer, but the other thing you're able to bring to the table is that you are very good with copywriting. So I would say don't just be a designer that does design alone, and be a designer that understands design and also something about the business or something about copywriting or something about front end development. And it's really so great that when you apply for a job and then they see your CV and they see that, oh, this person is a product designer, this person can help us design our marketing websites and not just design it but make it live, right? That would really save companies a lot of time. And with the advent of AI and all these no-code tools, it's really just a no-brainer for you to like be able to like execute whatever you design. I mean, you save the company money and you also save them time. So I would say don't just learn design alone, learn design and add something else to it. And in most cases, will be to understand how to use no-code tools like Framer, like Webflow. Um, so I used to use lead pages for marketing because I used to be a brand designer slash product marketer, right? So I would, sorry, a brand designer, product designer, and product marketer, right? So I'll write the marketing copy, I'll do the design, and then also now push with lead pages. And lead pages is like very good. So that way I'm able to like iterate on several design copies and A/B test them and see which one would like really optimize well. And I was really valuable for the company. Shout out to my people at Edukoya. Yes, so if you're able to add something else to your design, then you really stand out.
All right. So for people who just joined, who are just joining, what Miami just said is that your best skills, that is you being able to fire on um uh design tools might not be enough. You need to be able to add value from a business perspective so that